And the lies just continue.
P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
Jake Haro speaks from jail, and the things that he says here are, it's interesting and it's crazy. I will say that. And he even says to his missing son, "I love you, buddy." It makes you feel some type of way. Okay, let me just be real. He says a lot of things in here. He says God got us. He says God got us. God is with us when it comes to him and Rebecca. He speaks out, basically defending Rebecca, saying that she has nothing to do with this little boy's unaliving and all this stuff. This is very, very interesting nonetheless. So we're just going to get straight into this article, okay? This is just crazy. All right, make it make sense. All right, so in an exclusive jailhouse interview, father of baby Emmanuel says he would tell his missing son, "I love you, buddy." Now, here's the thing. He knows exactly where this kid is. All right, it's not like this kid miraculously, got picked up out of nowhere by somebody else and was discarded somewhere, okay, out here in these streets. All right, this man knows exactly where this young boy is, but I think he believes that if there's no body, there is no charge. But clearly he's wrong, because they're looking at some charges right now, and they're looking at some serious time behind bars. Both of them, okay? And he is still, even while he is donned in all red, in his red jumpsuit, prison jumpsuit, which looks great on him, okay? It's fantastic. That outfit is meant for him, okay? Even while he's still there, he is still in the land of delusion, just like his wife, all right? Still sitting here saying, "Oh, no, we're innocent. We didn't do anything wrong," right? Now, of course, there's been conversation about him talking to some sort of fake inmate. There's not been any confirmation of that. Obviously, during the press conference, they said that was fake news, that was just exaggerated, made up stuff by the press or by, as they said, keyboard warriors and all that. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to the keyboard warriors, when it comes to the internet journalists that are out here, let's be real. Without all of us doing what we're doing right now, talking about this case, I don't think that the police would feel as much urgency and as much heat on their necks trying to get this kid the justice that he rightfully deserves. So again, just wanted to throw in my 2 cents about that here, okay? Let's be real, all right? Without all the people that have been just doing everything they can at ground zero to bring awareness to this case and trying to find this young boy, which is commendable, by the way, that people are doing that. I don't think that this case would be where it is right now. You see what I'm saying? Because the urgency, the need for justice quickly, the need for results quickly would not be looming over the police's head. But anyway, we got to get into this because this is absolutely crazy. All right. He did an interview. All right. And apparently this was on video too. So maybe this interview will come out. This video interview might actually leak, or they might actually bring it out for all of us to see. But the fact that he's still sitting here saying, "I love you, buddy." No, you don't. Okay. He's still, and they say that he accidentally woke up on, I got to use these code words as best as I can, but he was sleeping next to Emmanuel, and apparently he woke up and Emmanuel, I guess, was underneath him or something like that. Okay. And then he went and he put him in a trash can. Now, if that's entirely true, that still remains to be seen. Okay. But nonetheless, this is some crazy stuff. And the fact that he is out here doing an interview is absolutely crazy to me. So let's take a look at this, okay? So he said in a jailhouse interview on Wednesday, so just yesterday, that the DA, his assertion that this missing 7-month-old boy was the victim of long-term attacks, he says it was not true at all. That those claims are not true at all, okay? But he declined to discuss what role, if any, he played in Emmanuel's disappearance, because he has everything to do with his disappearance. And so does Rebecca. Obviously, we already know about this. They corroborated a story. They used the markings on her face to add to the story, they made up some man coming up and saying hola, right? They figured out to go to Big Five Sporting Goods store in that parking lot and to stage that whole thing there, because I believe they knew that there were no security cameras outside, so that there would be. So if she was lying, it could not be caught on film. At least that's what they thought. We already know about all that, right? But the fact that he is trying to play innocent and also trying to make her seem innocent is absolutely insane. All right. So his wife and himself, okay, are charged with M and, filing a fake police report, which we already know. And they have a bail set for $1 million each, which would be $2 million in total. And honestly, they should not even have bail. They shouldn't even have a bond right now, guys. They should not. That's just my personal opinion. Okay. Jake had said little else about that case in the interview. Okay. But he did start talking about what happened in 2023, the conviction that he had in the past with what happened to Baby Promise, which we will be talking about here in a second. He would not say whether he led authorities to Moreno Valley Badlands on Sunday, okay, where he was spotted with investigators. He won't talk about that, but he did say he had been completely cooperative, quote unquote, completely cooperative with investigators. He says, I want to talk about it, but I can't, he said, referring to instructions from his attorney, his Timu lawyer, by the way. I'm assuming, okay, I was told, don't do no press. So he's leaning on what the lawyer told him to do, saying, hey, the lawyer told me not to talk to anybody. The lawyer told me to keep my mouth shut and stay holed up in the house and not conduct any searches for this little boy. Okay? Yeah. First off, they already know where they are. They already know where he is. Let's be real. They already know where he is. They already know where he is. They already know where he is. But they're playing the police because they're trying to get a deal. Or at least Jake is. Rebecca just basically said, my boy was taken. That's all I know, right? And my husband's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man. He would never raise a hand on anybody. He's a good man, right? So he wore a red jail jumpsuit, indicating that he is segregated. He's in a segregated housing for his protection. You got to remember, they don't take kindly to inmates that do things to littles, okay? So I can see why he is being protected to a certain extent, all right? He said he had no contact with other inmates. He sometimes wiped his face with a white cloth. His eyes appeared to be red. He said he attended Banning High because he played tight end and linebacker on the football team. Nobody cares. Okay. But during this 45-minute interview, he said the couple cares about Emmanuel. They attempted to schedule several appointments to inoculate the boy, but one hospital was continually out of vaxes. He said, okay. They eventually switched hospitals and had an appointment for October 2nd, where he was supposed to go get his pokes. Little boy was supposed to get his pokes. Now, Rebecca claimed that, of course, we already know about this whole situation where somebody came up and said, hola, she got knocked the F out. She woke up and baby boy was gone, right? All of that, of course, is not true. We even heard in that press conference yesterday that all of that is a bold-faced lie, okay? He talked at length, Jake talked at length about his child cruelty conviction, okay, in 2023. The thing that he did in 2018 to Baby Promise, okay? We don't say her original name anymore because that was the name that she received from two monsters. Her emancipation name is Promise, in my personal opinion. Her name is Promise, not the other name, okay? And we will continue to call her Promise on this channel, okay? And may she try to have the most healthiest and live the fullest life that she can get. But this man and his wife, okay, the mother that bore this child, should still be behind bars for what they did, Okay. But we already know that story. Okay. But he did talk about that at length and why he got this deal. All right. Which we're going to talk about here in a second. Okay. So they made plea deals with the judge over the objection of the district attorney's office. He received 180 days, which we already know. Okay. Which was a work release program. And he was handed a suspended 4 years prison sentence in order to attend a child A treatment program. So he said Wednesday that sentence was fair. No, it wasn't, baby. It was not fair at all. He should have been locked up for good, in my personal opinion. Both of them, okay? Both Vanessa and him for what they did to Promise. But moving on, he said he wanted to take the case to trial, but he, quote unquote, he says, I pled guilty because I didn't have the money to go to trial. The judge said nobody would believe my side of the story. Somehow they magically convinced me to take this damn plea deal. I was sick of court. The judge knows I didn't do it. They just railroaded me. I was the fall guy. Yeah, sure, you were the fall guy. No, you both were monsters and you did terrible things to this baby girl, and y'all got very lucky with what you got. The system let you slip through the cracks. That's exactly what happened. Period, point blank. Otto was hopeful on Wednesday that enough money could be raised, generally 10% of the bail. And then he says to free Rebecca, who he had wed 3 years ago, and of course, sired Emmanuel with her. Okay. Now, what's interesting is they're hoping to raise enough money. Guys, please don't give them money. Don't raise any money for these two. Let them rot in jail. Let them go through hell. Family members, please don't do it. Let them be locked up. They know exactly where this kid is. The longer that they're in prison or in jail, the longer or the quicker one of them starts to talk. Or the quicker or the sooner we have Rebecca snap on Jake. And suddenly we get truth, right? We get the full truth. And maybe she's the one who actually points out where this baby boy is, because they both know where they put this baby. Okay. They're both in the wrong, but let's move on. He continues and he speaks about Rebecca. Okay. Speaking of which, he says, Rebecca is innocent. The media is killing her. She is a beautiful woman and she loves her children. And of course, she's being held at a whole other detention center. Okay. They're separated. They're completely separated, as they should. Because they would just sit there and keep plotting, guys, keep corroborating and keep coming up with more sides of a story. You see what I'm saying? The fact that they're split up is a very, very good thing. So on Tuesday, when they appeared in court, they were separated from one another. Okay. Jake Haro said he encountered her after getting off an elevator. I'm trying to shout to her, I love you, he said. The deputy shoved me to the ground. He launched me like I was a rag doll. Well, I mean, they don't want you talking to your wife. You're a prisoner now, okay? And apparently he re-injured his shoulder. Oh, lo siento. Moving on, the sheriff's department on Wednesday declined to comment on that account. Okay. They said this investigation will be ongoing for quite some time. All right. We are not going to comment on statements made by the suspect, nor provide any details about the investigation. Why? Because one thing, they're not going to say anything about, make statements about what the suspect is saying, because he could be lying, adding more drama and trying to make it seem like I'm being hurt and I'm a human being. They need to treat me with respect. You see what I'm saying? These are two pathological liars. So, of course, this whole interview that he did is a freaking lie. He won't admit whether or not he was helping with police at that time when they went out into the Badlands. He won't say what happened with Emmanuel. You see what I'm saying? There's all this BS that just keeps coming out of these guys' mouth, right? Because he's lying. We shouldn't believe anything that's coming out of this guy's mouth. And Rebecca's too. She's been trained. So, Haro also talked about social media posts from the public that have been highly critical of the two. He says, God is with us. The allegations are horrendous. So, of course, people are going to be riled up. The allegations are horrendous. No, what you did to that baby boy is horrendous. It's not an allegation. You did that. Okay? You did that. So he was asked what he would say to Emmanuel if he could talk to his boy right now. And he said, "I love you, buddy." That's what he said. He said, "I love you, buddy." Now, let me just say this really quick. This man is one of the most manipulative mother lovers I've ever seen in my whole entire life. He is coming out here speaking in this interview, and what by the way, actually, let me just say this. Make this make sense. Why is he doing an interview? Before I even say anything, before I even waste all this hot breath on this mic, why did he agree to do an interview? You know that they have an option not to do these interviews. But both of them are doing these interviews. Why are they doing this interview? Why is he doing this interview right now? You know, Rebecca said what she said. There was no need for him to do anything. There's no need for him to say anything right now. But why is he doing this interview right now? Yeah, because he wants to continue to manipulate. This person, I think, gets zooted, all right, gets high off of these lies. That he's so focused on the court of public opinion that he's forgetting the common goal here, which is, where's the baby? Where's this baby Emmanuel? He knows exactly where this kid is, but instead he is doing these interviews and he's trying to play with all of us and the police. That's what I truly think. Let me ask you this, because here's the thing. If he was really out there trying to do his best to help with police, wouldn't he have said that in the interview? He declined to mention or to comment on why he was out in the Badlands with police on that day that we all were waiting at bated breath to see if we were going to find Emmanuel's remains. He could have had that opportunity right then and there to say, yeah, I went out there. I am helping. I am cooperating with police to find baby boy. He didn't say that. He declined to comment. And so he's still playing in this strange world of ambiguity when we actually already know the truth. And the truth is, these two have something to do with how this boy left this planet spiritually and how this boy is missing. There's no question about it. We could talk all day long about the BS that he's saying in this interview, but let's look at the main question. Why is he doing this interview? Why? Here's the other thing too. You connect this to the Timu lawyer, Vincent Hughes, that he had out here speaking on his behalf, making his lawyer look like Boo Boo the Fool, okay? Real talk. The whole thing was an absolute obsession with trying to look good in the public eye or messing with the public eye, just like he's messing with the police right now. Once again, we're back at it. Him jumping into, his train is pulling up to manipulation station all over again. And I just don't believe not one word that's coming out of this man's mouth. And what's really sad about this is that this may be the whole plan so that the baby is never found. But it doesn't matter. They're still catching charges, and they could look at being behind bars for the remainder of their lives. It doesn't matter if they have the remains or not. It doesn't. But this man right here is still continuing to manipulate. This man should never have any more interviews, and he needs to sit down, take several seats, and shut the hell up, in my personal opinion. But what say you guys? Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. We'll talk here soon. You know that he ain't done talking, and Rebecca ain't done talking. My bet is Rebecca is going to be the one to come out with the truth. That's what I truly think. She going to drop it like it's hot at some point, because she's going to realize that his influence is going to start to fade away over time. And that guilt is going to keep on rising. Give it time. Give it time. I feel like she going to snap. He going to try to do everything he can as well, because he's going to realize that, hey, justice is looming, right? It's coming, right? And he's going to try to do his best to manipulate, but also try to get on the good side of the law. But I'm telling you right now, if she catches any wind of him actually trying to cooperate with 5-0, she going to crack. She going to snap. But that's just my theory. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. Hit that like button down below. Again, sorry, guys. And subscribe. Please make sure you crush that subscribe button. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.